This topic on how to create a positive mindset is a very common one, and I'm sure you've heard of so many people talking about this and also would have read a lot of books about it. It's quite a general topic and quite cliche, right? A lot of things that people would have said is quite cliche by nature. So here, let me first start off by asking you, what do you really mean by positive thinking? What do you understand by positive thinking? Some things that come into my mind is it could be positive self-imagery, you imagine positive things, or you hear positive things, probably certain things that you hear and listen to on a consistent basis, or in general you are optimistic about everything. But however, all these things are, if you look at it, general by nature. So unless you have examples as to how to really create a positive mindset, probably we don't understand. So I'm actually giving you 7 concepts on having a positive mindset. So the first and the foremost is start your day with a positive affirmation. There are a lot of schools of thoughts around this, whether it works, doesn't work, it doesn't really work. A lot of them lose hope on this. If you really believe in it, do it, and you need to really genuinely believe in it to do it. So it's always good to start a day with writing, thinking positive, writing something positive, or even looking at yourself in the mirror and saying that I'm going to have a good day, or can talk about other things that you want to looking at yourself. This itself was a very different experience for me when I looked into my own eyes and said I'm capable kind of a thing. So try this. Second one is focus on good things, however small. So what do I mean by this, right? So if it is that we anyway will have obstacles in the day, but for whatever that you experience, can you focus on what the good things that have happened? For example, if you're stuck in a traffic, you can think about how I can listen to your favorite podcast probably the entire time, or a favorite song, or you can call a friend of yours, or whatever it is, right? So how many of us do this? We probably get really frustrated saying, oh, why are we not going home? I know, why is this not moving an inch? So however small it is, try to focus on the good things. What's the third point? Find humor in bad situations. This is tough to do, but try it. Suppose you got laid off in a job. Can you think of how a ridiculous way you actually spent the last day at work? So if you can think of it like it being a story that you can actually narrate later in your life, that would be the best way of finding humor in bad situations. This will make you actually look at life larger than it is, to laugh it out and to joke about it, so that you can actually talk about it as a story later point in your life. Whether you get laid off, thinking that what an absurd way you spent the last day, or probably thinking of what is the kind of absurd job that you can take up after this, or you took up after this. The fourth point is turn failures into lessons. So you aren't perfect. You're going to fail in multiple jobs, with multiple people, with multiple projects. It's bound to happen. If you can sort of convert that into a learning as to, okay, this has happened this time, so how can I learn from this to sort of correct it in the next time? That would help. So turn your failure into a lesson. Conceptualize this in concrete rules. For example, you could come up with 3 new rules for managing projects. The fifth point is transform negative self-talk into positive self-talk. This is something that is really crucial, and I talk a lot about this in my 3-day WhatsApp class, Discover the Superwoman Inside You, where negative self-talk is something that we are not even aware of. They in fact get embedded into our brain as a wiring into sort of feelings which unconsciously keep coming up or popping up every time you face a similar situation. For example, if there's something that you have not done well, if you say that I'm really bad at this is a statement you start saying to yourself more often than not. If you can convert that statement to I'll practice this next time so that I can be better at it, or things like that, rather than really making it personal, to say that I'm really bad at this, every time this is what happens to me, that's changing negative self-talk to positive one. Got it? Sixth point is focus on the present. I'm actually talking about the exact moment. That's what we have. Not 5 minutes back or not 5 minutes in the future. So what do I mean by this? Suppose a boss has commented on you, which you're feeling very bad about. You're actually focusing on just that moment and not about what he told you 5 minutes before, or what he's going to be telling you in the future, or what's going to happen in the future. And that's what happens when we are not focusing on the present. Most of the time we feel stressed thinking of either the past or the future and not being in the exact moment. If we are able to be in the exact moment, you'll see that you're suddenly able to provide solutions and also properly talk in a balanced way to any individual, whether it is your boss or whoever it is, trying to see how you can provide solutions to it. The seventh and the last one is find positive friends, mentors and co-workers. This is so real. When I am part of my digital mentors community, I feel the positivity. One of the reasons that I keep attending the meetings and learning, of course there's so much of learning, is to be in that vibe of positive energy of people who have done it and have also are millionaires today. So it's so easy to get pulled with the negative energies, but if you make an effort to be with those friends who are positive, to be with those mentors who are positive, to be with co-workers who are positive, it will just spread and it will actually benefit you in many ways. So just make an effort to be a part of those groups which will only exude positivity, and then you become that way and then it benefits you. Perfect. Please do attend my 3-day WhatsApp program, details of which is there in the comments below, and do comment on this particular video of your thoughts, and do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.